vaccines, the process, this protocol of making them. You discover them, they are made. Then you try them on the apes, the monkeys. You try them on the pigs, because it has been established we have almost a similar biological makeup. Then once you do that and they have positive results, they show that they work, then you test them on human beings. Now, how do you test them on human beings? The human beings are also falling in categories. You will find that a vaccine that may generally be working for Luos in Nyanza may not work in Muranga because of quite a few, how do you call them, genetic issues.
Yes.
So you test the various species of human beings. That therefore means that for the African, there must be African testing. The malaria drug that we use here in Kenya is tested in Seme, Kombewa, where I come from. That is where there's the American CDC. And it is our children and grandchildren, relatives that are used. So this theory that, oh, people are guinea pigs, whatever, it has to be tested on human beings. And there come a time, as the list I taught will tell you, that the nation is bigger than an individual. I would paraphrase it by saying, there come a time when life is bigger than pride. So that if it falls on Julie or Weda, that a vaccine may be tested, so that your children, your grandchildren, and my children, my grandchildren may be safe. You say, so be it. Let me tell you, people like Deda and Kimali, they gave their lives so that we are talking today freely. People like Mandela gave their 27 years so that people can jump in the streets of South Africa. If today COVID-19 has come and some people have spent their times in laboratories looking for vaccines, and they have come up with a promising vaccine, and they say, look, whether we need a dark, fat Luo to test it, and that is you. I will say, I am afraid, Jehovah, but so be it. If it will give other Kenyans life, I will do it. Let us not spread propaganda. If these Wazungus were to do their tests in their countries, and then they finish, and they say we have it, let Kenyans also do their own. Where will we run?
Speaking of which, Weda,
yes,
the whole world is putting brains and resources towards a vaccine. Here in Africa, we have had the president of Madagascar claim to have discovered a cure, and our neighbor President Magufuli says he will send a plane to get that medicine.
Yes.
At the same time, Magufuli is questioning the authenticity of the COVID-19 results in Tanzania.
Ya papai tukaipa jina Elizabeth Anne miaka 26 female. Papai lile lilikuwa positive kwamba lina corona. Kwa hiyo kutokana na extrapolation ya hizi information nilizonazo, lazima kuna watu wameambiwa positive wakati si wagonjwa wa corona, na inawezekana wengine wakafa kwa hofu.
Yes, of course, we've heard of the different cures from Africa, Madagascar, and the different countries who have different medicinal products. What we're doing is that through KEMRI and through established systems and protocols within the country, there are mechanisms in which to look and evaluate. Of course, we promote Africa and ingenuity and innovation in Africa, and that is something that requires to be celebrated. However, it's important that that celebration occurs under protocols and guidelines through which such drugs have been evaluated, especially for safety.
Well, that's the voice of Health CAS, Dr. Mercy Mwangangi, and before her, President of Tanzania, John Pombe Magufuli. What do you make of Magufuli's attitude towards COVID-19? I mean, he said prayers would keep people safe. Now he questions validity of tests and even wants some of the Madagascar quote-unquote cure.
Now, let me tell you, Africa has always been very blessed. Blessed with his madmen at particular epochs of history. The latest we had was a president called Germany. He was a herbalist, wearing white and claiming to treat HIV and to resurrect people. Please look history, you will find that. We have had Jean Badel Bokassa. We have had Amin Dada Idi Jakakwani. You understand that? Now, we have John Pombe Magufuli. He is also in that. We normally have our share. Then you have Africans saying there's some drug in Madagascar.
Yes.
Tanzania, we used to have somebody called Baba,
Yes.
Loliondo.
Yes.
And many people left medicines to go and drink a concoction in Baba's place, Loliondo. Find out, you will hear that. So what the president is saying, you would listen to it and say, let's give it an ear. What the president is saying defeats the observable science. You understand? We saw how people are dying in China, the protocols, the things they did to bring it under control.
Yes.
We've seen it in New York, we've seen it in Britain, we've seen the countries that went through it and have come out of it. Now what is our president saying? Oh, for us, God. There are things, now let me go religious. There are things that God has shown light over. You don't pray over them. Even if you pray, he does not listen. He will never listen. You understand that? Let me give you examples.
Please.
One, God says that love one another. If you hate, it is not him coming to punish you. The negativity and the stress in you will eat you up. It will dry your bones. He doesn't work. It is like electricity. Kenya Power has supplied electricity even here, and it has told you it is good, but also dangerous. Use it the way we are provided, it will serve you. Use it properly. It is not the MD Kenya Power or the police who will come to punish you for misusing power. Power will deal with you straight. Number 3, God has provided gravity. You know gravity?
Yes.
He says it will bring you down. So you go on KICC at the top after fasting for 40 days and praying 40 days, and you jump and say, God, I have done. He said, those ones I settle, gravity, do your work. You understand that? God himself has said he has given us leaves for treatment of the body, herbs. But he told us to seek wisdom. It is the principal thing.
Yes.
This wisdom, it is us. And you have seen when COVID-19 started in China, up to now, a huge body of knowledge has risen that you can see we are overcoming it. So when somebody comes with his own beliefs, let's pray. Wisdom says, keep distance, 2 meters.
Yes.
Him, he says, let's pray. God says, he has settled things like, this body, my body and your body,
Yes.
will be nourished by food. Chakula.
Yes.
So if you refuse to eat and you are praying, you will die. This body will work by breathing in oxygen. If you refuse to breathe oxygen, it doesn't matter how much you are praying. So
You
the
will
president of Tanzania should know there are things God has prayed for, has settled. You don't need prayer. There are other things that is in control of. One of it is the future. That is what you commit to him. You do what you are required to do today, but because tomorrow you don't know whether you will be alive or not, you say, Jehovah, I am putting this thing down, but I leave it in your hands because you are the one who knows about tomorrow. We know that COVID is here with us, but we have had protocols of how to deal with it, how to control it. Now he has refused, and you can see the cases are going up.
Yeah.
He has refused. He has lost members of parliament, top cream. And we thank God that this COVID-19 does not discriminate. He can get Boris Yeltsin, Boris Johnson,
Yes.
and can get Weda down here. So, Mr. President, you can be drinking those concoctions. We have no problem with them. But take the necessary protocols to prevent the spread.
One last thing before we leave the COVID-19 issue, the economic impact of COVID-19 and the effect on jobs and incomes was the main theme on Labor Day held at State House last Friday.
You continue to protect us from this pandemic. Consider extending your offer to workers for tax exemptions from those who are earning 24,000 shillings up to 100,000 Kenya shillings. Because this, Your Excellency, most of them remain to be union members.
I want to assure the workers that we have their back, and I will do everything to protect them from the economic downturn, but also from political opportunists who feed their ambitions on the misery of workers.
President Uhuru Kenyatta there and Francis Atwoli before him. Atwoli wants payee exemption extended from those earning 24,000 shillings to 100,000 shillings. Would the economy afford that level of income tax exemption?
No. I think if you take it that there's going to be fall in tax revenue from the big payers. Now you can see that very few people are making calls. The Safaricom money is going to dwindle.
Yeah.
You can see that we are not taking the Ruaraka waters. So the Keroche and the Kenya Brewery money is going to go down. We are not doing imports. A lot of imports. People are not importing cars and so on and so forth. So the revenue coming from those who pay those taxes is going down. So the only sure one is basically from the salaries. People are still being paid. So if you are to exempt, the country is going to be almost 80% broke. So as people also look for themselves, they should look at the wider picture. We have to survive, because the very workers that you want to exempt from the taxes are the first ones to be sacked when things are not working well. You have had big corporations. What do? They are not sacking the CEOs and the directors. They are saying we are laying off these workers. And who do they start with? Those who make tea. Those who deliver letters. They start with those ones. So because some of these union leaders also do not understand basic economics, they understand popularity, to be popular with workers. So they make suggestions which, when implemented, hurts the very same workers. You take, for instance, now, it's very difficult to sack an employee. And for that reason, many institutions are not hiring. They will give you 3 months contract. When it is over, they change with the other person. Not because they don't have opportunities, they don't have opening, but because they don't want to get into the madhogodhanio of law once you employ somebody. So, Comrade Atwoli could have made a good suggestion, okay, in his understanding. But I would urge him to understand the wider economic implications. Then he will know that if taxes were to be given to people earning 100,000, it is nearly every Kenyan. Majority of Kenyans earn 100,000 and below.